It's time for the show that brings the magic right to your speakers. Ears up!
Hey everybody, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Ears Up. We are here, and I gotta tell you, it's September 21st, and I'm Halloween ready. I got my Halloween shirt on. I had to pull out the Halloween shirts from storage, from a little storage bag, and it smells like it's stored for 11 months in a bag. It does not smell good, but I'm wearing them anyway.
One of those vacuum things where you like suck all the air out?
No.
Well, that's the kind of bag it is.
What are we rich?
Just don't suck the air out. We just roll it tight.
Those don't work anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm cool with it because it's just that musty clothes smell that I'm already used to. Terrence has to get used
Halloween.
to. Yeah, so I'm ready for it. I got a Halloween shirt on. I'm ready for Halloween, man. Our neighborhood's weird because there's pockets of people who celebrate stuff and who decorate houses, and then pockets that don't. And we already have people with Halloween decor in their front yard for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's not just like a pumpkin. It's like the 12-foot tall skeletons. And like this one house gave it clown hair, so there's 2 skeletons on either side. It's as tall as their friggin' house.
Wow. And
this other person basically right across their street has a bunch of just like random hodgepodge stuff that you buy from a Halloween Superstore or whatever. But one of them is like the big 14-foot Jack Skellingtons.
It looks pretty cool.
It looks great. It's very cool. It's very well done. Like my fear with those kinds of things is that they're just gonna be made cheaply. And it's gonna look cheap and it's gonna be whatever, right? But this looks really nice. We walk by it every day to school, walking Alice to school, and every day back we see it. But I noticed that the hands are on in reversed.
Oh no.
Because I was looking at his hands, because I'm looking at the quality as we're walking by. I'm like, that something doesn't seem right. His thumbs are it's like this. His hands are just switched. And it makes me laugh every time now because it's just not as cool for some reason.
I'm grabbing your head in an eerie way.
Yeah, it's very odd. You also brought up that it is September 21st, which is one of my favorite days because of that Earth, Wind, and Fire song. I can't think of how it goes right now, but it's the 21st.
The 21st is specifically referenced in that song?
Yeah, the 21st night
of commercial song.
Of September.
Yeah.
Okay. We're dancing the night away?
Yeah.
All right.
It's a good day. It's a good night.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
great. I want to buy some pants from the Gap. Yeah. Yeah. A little Cool J told me.
Yeah, man, for sure. Why wouldn't he do that? We have a great show for you. It's an Erik show tonight. And Erik is going to be talking about dolls, his little dolly collection.
Yeah,
that's what we're going to be talking about.
Is dolls.
Yeah, Erik's
Teddy
a big doll guy. Yeah, for sure. No, what is the show about, Erik? Tell me briefly before I talk about concierge.
Oh well, if I have to interrupt you from talking about concierge, then I will gladly tell you that this show is about the rivalry between Hasbro and Mattel, the 2 major toy makers in America, and how they battled over the Disney Princess line.
Whoa.
For several years. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I like it.
It's more fun than I thought it would be.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not something we usually do, but I like that about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm pretty excited about it. You did send me a link to try to pull some like clips from.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it. I thought about lying to you and just be like, I didn't have time. But I'm like 5 minutes in and I'm literally watching a video about dolls. I can't.
I tried doing the same, and I watched a lot of videos about people interviewing people reviewing dolls, and they were mostly middle-aged men. And sure. I didn't want to do a show where we made fun of those middle-aged men.
No, you can't, because they're doing their thing. Yeah, man. Yeah.
They're very popular, and I like the guy who's like, this show is not for children. I say the F word a lot. And yeah, that's cool. But yeah, look, I don't want to make fun of these people. I just
if you're going to do if you're going to do a YouTube video on dolls, that's I think how you do it, where you don't do it like really weird. You don't make it for kids. I don't know.
Yeah,
you can. I don't know. Whatever.
You could. Yeah.
I just
unboxings.
As far as I'm concerned, it was more just like the subject matter, and he's like talking about the quality of the doll clothes, and I'm like, okay, Eric's probably going to talk about some of this, so I don't really know. That was the other thing, is I didn't really understand what I was looking for, so I'm like, I'm done.
I couldn't give you a lot more. It was one of those things where you're like, do you have a topic? I said, I have most of a topic. And
perfect, you're hired.
I don't want to listen to more YouTube videos about dolls.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah, you're clocked in. Well, speaking of dolls, the people at Concy Ears are just dolls. They're sweethearts.
Oh.
Yeah. I can't remember if I spoke a little bit about last time I talked to Jimmy, but our trip is booked, and it was super simple. So if you're ready to go to the parks, even if you're not ready, like me, hit up concierge.com. It makes it so much easier because in this day and age, when you have a lot to stress about anyways, especially going to the parks and how you're going to pay for it and blah, blah, blah. And do you really care anymore? And why is Bob Iger such a penny pincher with the cast members? And do I even really care anymore? Whatever. If not just in general.
I want to buy the Bob Iger doll? I mean,
I would like a doll.
I would buy a Bob Iger doll.
Yeah.
Just to have one.
Hit up concierge.com. They'll help you out. They will book your trip for you. They make it super easy and everything like that. Actually, you know what? We have to do. Maybe I'll do it during the show. We have to book our reservations for the trip. Haven't done that yet.
Oh, yes, definitely call Jimmy right now during the show.
Hey, Jimmy, he's probably sleeping. He would not be happy. Well, I told him I would do it, and then I thought I set a reminder for myself because he's like, I'll hit you with a reminder to do it, but I'm like, I can do it. It's fine. He's like, it's part of the service.
Hey, that's part of the service. If you already have reservations, but you want the extra stuff, you want somebody to look out for dinner reservations and everything for you, we can transfer your reservations over to concierge.
Yes, you can do that. And I thought about it, and I said, well, you know what? I would have to remember my password to my account, and I don't know what that is. So he's like, okay. I'm like, I'm saving you time, whatever. But anyway.
12 Disney with a capital Y.
Check them out, concierge.com. They're official travel partners, and I'm very excited to finally be using the service, and it's everything I've ever wanted and more.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, I had a little thing to talk about, but I think I might save it for the secret show. We have some news, maybe. It depends on how long Eric wants to ramble about dollies. And then we'll do the secret show right after this. So if you are a Patreon supporter, you can go over to Patreon right now and grab that link if you want to do it now and get it early. If you're not a Patreon supporter and you listen to this later, you can go back and listen to every single one of our secret shows. And I think most of them, if not all of them, are on YouTube, but they're unlisted. So the links that are posted within Patreon, then that gives you access to the secret show YouTubes. So you can go back and you can watch us, laugh at Terrence's drink making skills and stuff like that.
Oh,
and
God.
Sit. We do a lot of sitting.
Yeah, we do a lot of sitting. That's a podcaster's life, is really kind of how that works.
Yeah.
Anyway, Eric, let's talk about dollies, man.
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
This is weird to me. I would never think that toy companies would be. I never really thought much about licensing rights or whatever.
No, and I knew nothing about this until, it was several months ago, more than several. I've been kind of dabbling with this idea for a long time until it really kind of hooked me and drew me in. But a while back, maybe even January or even back in 2022, this is totally vague because I'm just making this up as I go, although it's something that happened to me. Anyway, one of my friends texted me a link to a Shop Disney doll called the Disney Illy Forever doll, inspired by Belle, Beauty and the Beast. And she said, hey, this is a new line of Disney dolls that isn't made by Mattel or Hasbro. It's made by a company called Jakks Pacific. Isn't that interesting? And I said, I don't think so.
The word interesting is doing a lot of heavy lifting in this conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
And she said, you need to look into the Hasbro versus Mattel rivalry. And so I literally have, there is a date stamp on this from the beginning. January 10th, 2023 8:21 p.m.
Wow.
I put that link into my notes and I wrote, look up more underneath.
Nice.
And
Your
now
to-do list.
I have pages and pages of notes about this.
And there you
This
go.
whole scenario. Well, yeah, let's start out with a little bit of a hook here.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Mattel lost its license to produce Disney princess dolls in 2016. But in 2022, it announced that it got that license right back. That's only 6 years. By the way, I reckon it using math. Mattel's stock jumped 6%. Hasbro stock dropped only 1% because of its trade in Star Wars and Indiana Jones toys. This is kind of a big deal in the toy community.
I can imagine.
Yeah, this is a major shift, and it happened very quickly, and then it unhappened also very quickly. So let me take a step back into the early days of Hasbro and Mattel. Okay. Mattel was the first company to work with Disney for toys. Mattel Creations was founded in 1945 by Harold Matson and Elliot Handler, his business partner. So Mattel, Matt, Elliot, Mattel.
Elliot. Got it.
And the first...
I'm going to wipe the microphone off there.
Yeah,
cool. Good.
And I got to do that too. Elliot's wife, Ruth Handler, a name you might recognize, was the first president of Mattel Creations. So Matt and Elliot founded Mattel, and then Elliot put his wife in charge. They wanted to create furniture and picture frames using new plastic materials. And that worked out okay. And then they started making dollhouse furniture. And then they realized they could work together with this new Mickey Mouse Club show. So in 1955, the first year of the Mickey Mouse Club, they sponsored the entire year of broadcasting.
Oh,
jeez.
And got exclusive rights to merchandise.
That's cool.
Wow.
Even though they got this and they had their dollhouse furniture stuff, their first big hit was after that, and it was a ukulele called the Yukadoodle. Several years later, in 1959, Ruth Handler named a doll after her first child, Barbie.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, she did.
Really?
And then she named Barbie's boyfriend after her son, Ken.
Yeah, she did.
Is it really?
Yep. But that's actually a different story.
That becomes kind of creepy.
Yeah. What are you serious, Clark?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway.
But yeah, Chatty Cathy in 1960 helped Barbie and Chatty Cathy helped push them up into an unprecedented realm for a toy company. They went public in 1960. In 1968, they released Hot Wheels. A toy line that you definitely still know about. And
unlike Barbie.
Unlike Barbie, it faded into the mists. Yeah. By 1980, Matt Matson had been gone from the company for several years. Elliot finally left after financial chicanery, and his wife Ruth Handler sold off her remaining stock. That's right. The SEC found out that they had falsified financial documents starting in 1975 when Ruth had breast cancer, and claimed that she kind of spaced out on the financial documents that they were submitting their multi-million-dollar company to the SEC.
I mean,
maybe she did.
Yeah. Do you think she did, or is it hey, I'm pulling the cancer card?
Yeah.
She's been gone for 20 years now, and I have nobody to ask directly.
Okay. All right.
It does seem like a weird connection to make, that because she had cancer,
she forgot.
So it almost sounds truthful, because it seems like such a weird
maybe
excuse to use, but
yeah. Well, hey, That's also not the topic of this conversation here. In 1982, they began the Masters of the Universe toy line with He-Man and She-Ra and all of that business.
Was it a toy before it was a cartoon?
Simultaneous.
Okay.
Pretty much designed at the same time from what I've seen. Check out The Toys That Made Us on Netflix. Amazing show.
I've been looking at that show.
Okay. Oh, it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Every episode is great.
Awesome.
The company continued to grow. They continued to purchase other companies like Fisher-Price and Tyco. Major brands from our childhood. And soon enough.
Wait, can you go back 1 second? I just want to make sure I got this right. So the lady who was running the business made a mistake.
Yeah.
And so she's out of the business?
The SEC found that it basically fined her for a large pile of money, and she had to sell off her remaining stock.
Okay, so she's no longer part of it.
No.
Okay.
She's also no longer part of this world.
Okay, well, that's sad.
That's a different thing.
And her husband as well?
I believe her husband is also gone. He also had to leave the company.
Okay.
Matt Matson, the other founder, had been gone for years. Okay,
so now neither of the founders are around. This is now like next generation company.
Correct.
Okay. I needed to get that in my head.
Oh no, there are a lot of names in this.
Okay.
I don't have time to go into everybody here.
That is fine.
I love a name.
But yes, Ruth Handler is definitely a name that you want to know because she was the founder. She was the first president of the company, and she invented Barbie.
She's my hero.
There you go. Ruth or Barbie?
Yes.
Or
yes.
Captain Planet?
She-Ra.
He's our hero. He took pollution down to zero.
It's true.
Yes. I'm sorry, my dog is eating the large case that I use to store my soundboard in when I travel. And that probably degrades the quality of the box that I put it in.
Yeah, nonsense.
Okay, thank you. So that helps. Soon, Mattel had another lucrative partnership, again with Disney, but it's not that soon because we're talking about the 80s, and this happened in 1996. So let's rewind to the beginnings of Hasbro. This company was started in 1923 and was originally called the Hassenfeld Brothers, after Herman, Hillel, and Henry Hassenfeld.
Jeez.
With a name like Hassenfeld, you have to name your sons with an H.
Well, and I wonder if it's because, if one of them dies, the other people can get their monogrammed, luggage or whatever.
Oh,
nothing goes to waste.
Cost efficient.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sort of joking because I feel like, back then, it could happen. You don't want to be frivolous with your money. It would be frugal.
This is the 20s. Yeah. You gotta pay attention.
Well,
you get diphtheria or whatever.
You sew your son the sweater with the H on it.
Right.
If he doesn't make it through diphtheria, then you just give it to your next son. It's fine.
Right.
All right. Here's Hiram, and after him is Henry, and then I don't know. Hob.
Yeah.
We're running out of names. The company originally sold textile remnants, pencils, and pencil cases. This sounds like a very Depression area sort of, area sort of thing to sell.
Yeah, everybody needs a pencil.
Yeah. In the 40s, they survived for 20 years doing this, and then they started making toy doctor and nurse kits. So the creepy kits that you used to explore modern medicine.
Yes. The workings of the body.
Your first trip into biology.
Mm-hmm. Your second trip into biology was Mr. Potato Head in 1952.
These are all the hits, man.
Yeah. And then 1964, they said, you know what boys need is a doll.
I know what boys like. They want a dolly. They'll do a show about it from the balcony.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very good, huh?
Oh, I like it. I like it a lot.
Thanks.
Well, Hasbro coined the term action figure when they made
Wow.
G.I. Joe.
Oh.
Wow.
Joe
Coined
quickly
the term action figure.
Mhm.
Dang.
Yeah.
Joe quickly became their best seller, taking up 2/3 of their sales of random textiles and nurse kits.
And what year was that?
1964.
And when did Barbie come out?
Barbie was 1959.
Yeah. See, G.I. Joe is literally just boy Barbie. Always has been.
Yeah, pretty much.
Always
Not-
Hasbro.
Not really, though, because, first of all, good pun.
Thanks.
Congratulations. Second of all, get out of my studio. Third, you can't change your clothes on G.I. Joes.
You can't.
No.
They're all sewed on. It's just skin. It's skin fatigues.
No,
It's ju-
my
it-
dad had one that had real clothes, but my dad's old. Maybe it's the older ones.
Yeah, it's probably the older ones.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, I guess the older ones were bigger.
It was a little too big for Barbie to be Barbie's boyfriend, to be honest. It was like,
True. Yeah,
too
mega boyfriend would have crushed her.
Yeah.
Their children would have destroyed her.
yes.
Sorry.
And us, honestly.
Yes, the rest of the Western world.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, in 1968, they changed their name. They finally changed their name from Hassenfeld Brothers to Hasbro and went public. This may be the first time the word bro was used in an IPO.
Yeah, there you go.
I love it.
They later partnered with this young bearded man named George Lucas on Star Wars and
Oh,
the
good
toys
move.
thereof.
Man.
That was a great move.
Yeah, they solidified their reputation as a boy toy company at that point. It was
Boy
G.I.
toy.
Joe. It was Star Wars. And yes, they're very handsome. So very boy toys.
Well, it is Hasbro. I mean, it makes
Mhm.
sense.
There you go. Well, let's skip forward a few years because nobody cares about the 80s or the 90s. None of us care about that stuff. That sort of
Sure.
thing, right?
It's only when we were all born.
Yeah. Polly Pocket falls in there somewhere. And
Not me.
Oh,
I'm
that's
pretty sure Creepy Crawlies were in there. Remember those?
Oh yeah, I loved those so much.
Yeah, it would be fun to go through like the hits. Like, what are the hits of Hasbro and Mattel? You keep going. I want to look that up.
All
Well, so
right,
if-
you look that up.
Oh, go ahead. I was just gonna start thinking about it in my head.
You can start thinking
And
about it.
just
That's
make-
fine.
Yeah,
make
please
it
don't
up.
do that. No, don't let her do that.
The next 2 pages are only like 3 words each page.
It already smells like a fire in here. It can't.
Whatever.
Okay, top
Or
10
the smell of the stickiness of Creepy Crawlers.
top 10 Hasbro toys.
Okay.
Number 1, Transformers.
Oh
Mhm.
wow.
Okay. Number 2, Nerf.
Whoa.
Number 3, Tonka.
Mm.
Number 4,
truck.
Marvel. Number 5, G.I. Joe. Number 6, My Little Pony.
Oh, girl toy.
Number
We're getting
7,
into that.
Mr. Potato Head. Number 8, Star Wars. Number 9, Play-Doh.
Play-Doh.
Number 10,
What?
Power Rangers. Number 11, Rubik's Cube. Then you have Light Bright. And then you have everyone's favorite girl rocker, Gem.
Gem. She's
Gem.
truly outrageous.
She's amazing.
These are, I mean,
I ruined my gem doll
course you did.
within the first day because she went in the bath and her earrings no longer lit up. I was so sad.
Aw.
these are like the I mean, I don't know. These are the linchpins, the keystones for toys,
Yeah.
right? Popular brands under Mattel: Barbie, Hot Wheels, Fisher Price, Matchbox. Also, which is interesting. They have Hot Wheels and Matchbox. 'Cause I always looked at those as competitors.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, big cars and tiny cars.
Yeah. Uno, Polly Pocket, Thomas and Friends. That's it. They're not. Mattel is not
It's
as
Barbie. It's all, I
It's
would say half their-
Disney and Pixar cars. Yeah, they have Frozen. They have Harry Potter, Hello Kitty and Friends.
Ooh.
But that's it. I mean, now they have Minecraft and whatever. But like, as far as old toys, they don't really have much. Hasbro was definitely, I think, the leader of the '80s. Whoa! Shut up, Jason. All right, sorry. Go ahead, please. Now that I've got that out of my
why are we
brain.
shutting up? You're
I don't
putting
know.
something in your pocket for later.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, my audio is playing.
Oh.
Anyway,
Oh.
go ahead. You guys didn't hear that?
We didn't hear it, and so you just sounded like you were screaming at yourself for no reason.
She doesn't know. She doesn't know. The petunias are purple. I just
We had a moment here. All right.
Yeah.
I think we're back.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, let's jump forward to the year 2000.
In the year 2000. Yeah.
Glad you sang it. Otherwise, I'd have to.
Thank you.
Andy Mooney, a recently hired Disney executive, went to see Disney on Ice with his family, as he was encouraged to do. He was encouraged to go out and see all the different Disney properties.
I know how that goes. I know that kind of encouragement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here, spend your money and go see our stuff.
Yeah.
And he saw a lot of children wearing princess gear to Disney on Ice. So he asked various mothers. Apparently, this is something you could do if you're Andy Mooney. He must be a very approachable gentleman. And he asked if they would buy this stuff if Disney sold it, because these people were wearing homemade costumes and bringing homemade props and toys. And he said, what if we did this? And everybody said, oh, yeah, we would buy this. We don't want to make costumes for our children anymore.
Yeah. If we want to outsource everything, it's fine.
All of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
It's
the
year
nanny made
2000.
these. Right.
Right.
That seems late in the game
A little,
yeah.
yeah.
to get into this, right?
Absolutely.
But this is when the princess line started.
That's insane.
Andy Mooney went back to Disney and said, we need to market these princesses. And Disney had always stayed away from putting the princesses in the same frame in a lot of ways. You didn't want properties, IPs to overlap because people would get confused.
They weren't lumped together.
No.
Under the umbrella of princesses for marketing purposes.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So some of the execs who were involved said, we need to set up rules because we don't want to dilute the brand of Snow White by putting her next to Cinderella. Obviously, right? So
Yeah.
some of the rules. Princesses could not look at each other in marketing materials.
Really?
Wait, say that again, please, because I don't think I heard words, but I don't think my brain comprehended the stupidity of this.
Imagine the early Disney princess line stuff.
Okay.
Did you ever see an image? Well, you didn't ever see an image early on where multiple princesses were featured in the same drawing where they were looking at each other. There was no connection. They were all looking away from each other wistfully.
Okay.
They could not look at each other. Their dresses had to be different colors. So,
well, I mean, they are like, okay. All right. I'm getting caught in the weeds. Yeah.
With Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella, because both of them had blue dresses at times.
Okay.
So because you had to differentiate them, they said, well, Sleeping Beauty's Aurora had to be a pink dress.
Well, that makes sense.
And Cinderella got the blue.
Sure, I get that. You mean you have a brand identity, and you gotta, you have your lookbook, and you gotta make sure everything sticks with it. So one of them wins. One of them gets the thing.
Right. So
that makes sense.
This is the new era where everybody had to be a little bit different, so you couldn't confuse the princesses. You had to know when you looked at any princess, bam, that's Aurora. Yeah. Bam, that's Cinderella, Mulan.
Man,
everybody else. Yeah.
I love hearing this kind of stuff because I do like marketing as far as how decisions are made with regards to how people view things and creative ideas, I guess. Like the catalyst for making that decision, it came from somewhere. This is it, right?
Yeah.
But like sitting in a boardroom, figuring that out, having an argument or having a conversation about who gets the dress. I wonder if there was that banter. Like that's the kind of stuff I really enjoy.
Yeah, it's so interesting the way they decide what is what, and you've got these people who are experts, and you're saying this sounds so unnatural, but they're saying no, trust us. You need to know you need to get it. I guess they knew what they were doing, because within 3 years of the year 2000, sales of Disney princess stuff, $1 billion.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
My
One
God,
billion with a B.
I wonder what this man's bonus was.
Yeah,
that,
dude.
you
I'm
know?
surprised he doesn't own the company.
God.
Dang.
He got a rare Maleficent wand.
Yeah. You're going to declare prima nocta on the whole rest of the family
Ooh,
members.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, by 2014, any guess as to where the princess line was in 2014? By the way, this is the year Frozen came in. Frozen was measured separately.
It was
my
measured
gosh.
separately.
So-
we can't count that high.
So
We
we're,
don't-
talk- we're talking
guess
numbers.
Frozen and guess the rest of the princess line.
We actually don't have numbers. We haven't invented numbers yet that go that high.
So from
So you have to split it out.
So from 2003, which was 1 billion,
Mm-hmm.
to 2014,
Mm-hmm.
I would gosh, I don't know. I want to say
I'm gonna jump in while you
Yeah.
think about it. So if it's 1 billion, I imagine that tapers off a little bit because you can't sustain it. You know, it's like the rush to get the new thing, and then it's permeated the market, right? So I'm gonna go 700 million for the princesses, and then Frozen in general, I'm gonna go 2 billion.
okay. I'm going to go 3 billion for the general princesses and 2 billion for Frozen.
Well, you definitely value Frozen a little too highly.
Okay.
Frozen in 2014 was $531 million.
Wow.
Wow, still a lot.
Still a lot. The princess line without Frozen was $5.5 billion in 2014.
Wow.
Tapered down.
Every year, this
Woo.
company is making billions of dollars off of pictures of princesses from movies that were made 50 years ago.
I am clearly no good at selling products. Obviously, we know this by now. By the way, covers are still on etsy.com/shop/EarzUp. That is wild. Do you know the percentage that Disney gets, or like what the licensing fees are?
Oh, I don't have that. No. But
Well,
this is what Disney values the princess line at. So I would imagine it's probably more if you
Yeah.
consider what Mattel gets.
Yeah.
Wow, that is wild. That is a lot of money.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, Disney started making dolls with Mattel in 1996 before all of this started. And even that was closing in around 500 million a year. When they decided to partner with Mattel, they gave them the Disney princess line and said, make dolls. And they sure did. This is part of that 5.5 billion. It is Disney princess dolls that look like Barbie imagined as the Disney princesses.
Yes.
That's kind of the way they did it, because that's Mattel's bread and butter. They know how to make dolls that look like adults.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the whole point. They don't make baby dolls. They make adult dolls that little girls aspire to be. So they make these different dolls that aspire that look like adult Barbie dolls.
Oh yeah, we have all of them upstairs in Alice's room.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be interested to know when you got them, because things started to change. In 2014, Hasbro stepped up a little bit. And even though their reputation was boy toys, they had this My Little Pony line that they restored, and there was a lot of interest in toys for girls. So they started courting Disney. Disney knows that Mattel has always dominated the doll market, but the CEO of Hasbro, Brian Goldner, said, we're going to make the princess brand bigger and more ubiquitous than it has ever been in the past.
Wow.
Wow, big words.
Yeah. Well, they secured the rights to Frozen. So when it comes down to it, that 531 million, that was Hasbro making Frozen toys.
Really?
And
this is making sense because Alice she got a gift set that did not include Frozen dolls. And I was like, wow, Anna and Elsa are better than everyone else, but maybe it's just they weren't owned by the same people.
Right. Well, and at the same time, Mattel, the doll maker, is making toys that look like their flagship character, Barbie. And Barbie sales are flagging. Disney Princess sales are going well, but the top brass at Mattel are starting to say, well, we really need to focus in on our own brand. We're not licensing Barbie to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
They had a vice grip on Barbie. So they're saying, let's make Barbie better. Let's invest into Barbie and push this brand and change things. Let's push this forward. And Disney starts to feel a little bit miffed. So we're going back to 2012 when Mattel's CEO, Brian Stockton, I'm just putting this together. Brian Goldner, Hasbro's CEO, Brian Stockton, Mattel's CEO. There are a lot of names.
a lot of Brian.
A lot of Brians.
A lot of Brians in the doll biz. Brian Stockton is seeing the failure of Barbie, and Disney feels that. In 2013, Mattel released a Bratz style line. Do you remember Bratz?
Oh yeah,
Remember Bratz?
They were terrible. My sister loved them.
You know what's
awful?
You know what's funny is Fred, the guy who my real estate friend, right? Fred, years ago, knows the guy. He's friends with the guy who created Bratz.
Really?
Yeah, guy's like super rich.
Oh wow,
super duper rich. There's also a thing online. I think this person's on Etsy, but there was a big thing when it first came out where this gal takes those Bratz dolls and paints them and reshapes their faces to look normal, to normalize the things. Yeah, like actual real children,
which was actually very cool.
Super cool. Yeah.
But yeah, Bratz was huge. I remember my sisters being super big into Bratz. Well, Mattel says we need to release our own Bratz style toys. They create Ever After High. Ever After High leaned into
Ever After High. Okay, like high school.
High school students crafted theming after classic European fairy tales. Open source, no royalties needed. Fairy tales. They don't need to consult Disney. They're creating their own fairy tale line. And this is at the exact same time that Disney is releasing the Descendants movies. So Disney wants to create Descendants toys, and Mattel is creating their Bratz style version of the Descendants in a toy line.
So wait, was Bratz a Hasbro thing or a Mattel
Bratz
thing?
was not Hasbro or Mattel. It was
they were their own. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. But Mattel wanted to get into that. They're the doll company. And Disney said, you are creating something opposed to us. You're creating a toy line that's based on children taking on the mantles of their villainous parents. Very familiar. We get where it's going. It's back to the original fairy tales. We're doing the same thing at the same time with our movies. We want to create toys. What the heck are you doing? This further creates a rift between Mattel and Disney, a partnership that's been going on for many, many years. So Disney approaches Mattel in early 2014. Approaches Hasbro in early 2014 and says, what if you designed the princess line?
Dang.
What would that look like? And Hasbro and Disney decided to take a different look at the princess line and empower them. Say, girls want to feel powerful when they play with their toys, like action figures. When they're playing with their Merida.
Sure.
Yeah, right.
Whatever. Toy hamburgers. That's what they're playing with. Okay. Toy kitchens, Taryn.
Get out of here.
Okay.
Well, Hasbro and Disney changed the perspective on their heroines, and they started testing with focus groups. Hasbro interviewed thousands of girls around the world, not just the US, and learned that, girls don't just think that princesses are pretty little people, pretty little lady people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they look at toys like boys think about superheroes. They imagine adventures with their toys. So Merida has a bow and arrow. She can fight. Elsa can use magic. Rapunzel can swing by her hair and smack a dude in the head with a frying pan. People want to have adventures with their toys. And this is...
I can tell you firsthand that's not how girls play with dolls.
Well, it was in 2014.
Yeah,
No.
Taryn.
According to focus groups.
I know. These focus groups, the parents must have been in the room, because what girls really do with dolls is you have them make out with the kin, and then you get them dressed, and then they go to bed. That is what girls do with dolls.
Well,
That's what you do with
They are not
dolls.
using a frying pan to hit somebody over the head. That is not happening. That is not happening. Ask anyone.
Taryn is canceled, okay?
Yeah.
Everybody, Taryn is canceled.
I will say, like, watching Alice play with dolls, because she has, the Disney princess dolls. We don't buy them; the other people buy them for us. She doesn't. The only thing that she likes to reenact with the dolls from the movies is Rapunzel and her hair, and like that's about, and just the reference of that she has long hair. That's it. Otherwise, she's getting them dressed, and they're going to the store, or it's bedtime.
It's always bedtime.
Or it's school or whatever. Like, it's nothing. It never plays out like she's playing in the movie ever.
And it never
weird.
has. It never has.
Yeah.
I had Britney Spears doll. She was never Britney Spears. She was just a different looking Barbie who was like the mean friend. Like, that's how it works. Like,
hey, maybe times were different in 2014. I don't know.
I don't know.
This is
Anyway.
what Hasbro came up with, and Disney said, yes, do it. And starting January 2016, Hasbro had the license for Disney dolls. Hasbro had its own studio in Burbank. They were making Transformers movies. They spent $710 million for the first Transformers movie, which, if you recall, was a lot of CGI of robots hitting other robots, and you weren't sure which robots were the robots and which ones were the other robots.
They are still making those movies. I think one's coming out soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they've never been good.
No. They've always been the laughing stock of things, but the CGI is incredible because it's so detailed.
People watch them. People still go to them. People also watched My Little Pony, which I referenced was another property that came back and had a very successful show. They also produced the movie Battleship starring Liam Neeson, right?
Wow. Yeah.
And Gem and the Holograms starring people who were not Liam Neeson. And we don't need to talk about Gem or Battleship again in the rest of this episode.
I forgot Jim had a movie. I heard it was bad too.
Well, you're the only one who heard about that movie. So Hasbro getting the Disney princess license was likened to the Cubs winning the World Series, which of course happened a year later when they got this. And I don't care because I'm a White Sox fan. Let's move on.
Yes.
So Mattel out. Sorry, forget you. We're down to Hasbro making Disney princess dolls. Hasbro and Disney want to create a different look for them, so they create more, quote, realistic looking dolls. They had more realistic proportions, which meant that they maybe were thin-waisted, but maybe less thin in other areas. They changed the proportions of all of the dolls, essentially. So it wasn't a Barbie sculpt with different hair and an outfit.
Mm-hmm.
It was a different sculpt for every single doll.
Okay.
And that was their entire purpose. Like, let's redo the entire thing. And there were a lot of comparisons in the doll collecting community, comparing them and saying, this is a fresh breath of air. Like, this is something new. This is different. and we like it because it's not just a Barbie with eyeshadow and a samurai sword and she's Mulan.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Because Mulan wasn't a samurai. That whole thing. Well, in the interim, Disney partners with Hasbro. They don't stop working with Mattel. The CEO of Mattel, Chris Sinclair, says, I'm sorry, the new CEO of Mattel, who was the head board member of Mattel, who kicked out the CEO, said, "We took Disney for granted. Shame on us. We weren't focusing on them." He fires Brian Stockton and steps in and starts to apologize. He saw what was happening and said, "Let's fix this." So immediately in 2014, different year, 1914 to 2014, he called Disney in and apologized to their staff. He said, let's work on this. So he invited Disney to come to Mattel offices and look at their current toy lines. During this time period between the announcement of the change and the actual new change of Hasbro toys in 2016, they fired 2/3 of Mattel's executive officers.
Wow.
Man. Ruthless.
Yes. So Sinclair maintains through the whole process that Disney is still involved. Please continue to invest in this company. We still make Mickey Mouse toys. We still make other Disney branded toys. We're not out of this yet. And then we continue moving on. I don't know if you want to take a quick break. We've got a few more years here. It's 2016.
Let's take a break.
All right.
We'll take a break. We'll come right back with Ears Up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
And now, back to the show that ignites your dream wish of imaginations and magical color wonderment of forever. Ears Up.
All right. Thanks for sticking around, everybody. All right, Eric. You know what? During the break, I found the cost of Hasbro's Star Wars contract.
Oh.
Someone posted it
that's a big one.
online. Yeah, it's pretty big. I can't find anything online that tells me what they're paying for the princesses, but I know what they're paying for Star Wars stuff. And I'm assuming you didn't cover this, so I can just
No, I don't have that. I don't even have numbers, but I have a general sense of things. Yeah, go for it.
So basically, there's a lot of nuance, as you learned. But basically, this website says, to sum it all up, since 1997, the Star Wars license cost Hasbro a minimum guarantee of at least $730 million.
Ooh.
It was $450, and then they had to pay $590 because the Star Wars movies were doing better, and then they had to renegotiate because Disney bought Lucasfilm, and then the minimum went up $230 million. So they think it's about $730 million, and then later on, and apparently this guy, JediTempleArchives.com, gives some props. He references the Toys That Made Us. And he says that the guy who negotiated this what Disney gets, like their percentage, 18%, and so they get 18% off of the wholesale cost, and that's the royalty. So you pay a minimum. This is what you get up front, and you get a little taste of the gross or whatever it is.
Yeah. Wow.
I know. That is wild, man.
Everybody's making some bank.
And so somehow this guy has all this information. Hasbro royalty payments in 2007, $316.8 million. 2008, $313 million. 2010 it dropped down to 248. 2017 $405 million. Like they're just every year just paying out royalties, man. Like, it's just so wild to me. It's so wild to me.
And Disney gets it.
Yeah, they are the largest licensor of IP in the world.
That makes a lot of sense. And when
Yeah.
it comes to these dolls, they continue to play all sides in this argument.
Love
Sure.
it. Can't wait for it.
Yeah. Yeah. So 2016, Hasbro Princesses hit the market on January 1st. Each mold is completely different. I'm seeing some great things in the chat about aggressive kinkles.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
various other molding choices. Well, there's less articulation and the hair quality is a little bit different. Mattel's Barbie hair was designed to be brushed.
Yes.
Hasbro's hair is designed to look like a cartoon character, so don't touch it.
Yes, I'm so glad you're saying this because it drives me insane. And I'm like, are these the cheapest dolls on earth? Because you can't brush them. You can't even play with them without their hair getting destroyed.
They're designed to look more like the movie hair. So it is in some ways cheaper hair, but that was what they were going for on purpose, I guess. Quote, quote.
Yeah, it's tough to brush their hair on these new because it just frizzes out.
Well, I love to hear firsthand stories about hair brushing of dolls. Thank you,
You're welcome.
Petros family.
Well,
Thank
here's a tip. You can use liquid fabric softener and soak in there a little bit, and it will relax the hair, and it'll make it more normal again.
That's right. Everybody out there, if you have an Alice of your own, help soften the hair of her dolls
Yeah, well, because it's just
with fabric
it's just
softener.
a Brillo pad up there now.
Yeah.
With a lot of these dolls, man, because they're cheap. It's cheaper hair. It doesn't look good. Yeah, it's and the dolls you get now, the everything's rubber banded in place, and you don't want to touch it. But you have a 5-year-old who doesn't want to play by those rules.
No.
She wants to do the hair however she wants, and so in some ways, I feel like it's a dumb move to style the hair like it is in the movies. Like I get it, but that's not very playable.
Yeah,
Mm.
I love that perspective because that's basically it for the market. Everybody's saying, oh, this looks great. All the collectors are saying, we like this.
Yeah,
But everybody who plays with their dolls says, but why? But why did we do this?
right.
And so in 2016, Frozen rights at Hasbro were huge. All of the Disney Princess rights, huge sales, but then they dropped. And everybody in the industry said Hasbro paid too much for the rights, and they were now losing cash on
Ooh.
the princesses and Frozen.
No, it couldn't possibly be their fault that they weren't making quality dolls. Couldn't be that.
No. Well, they also overpaid. Sure, you can make lower quality dolls if you're not paying much for the rights. But if you're
Right.
paying a lot for the rights, you need to make better quality dolls. Neither of these things happened. They paid too much. They were making poor quality dolls. Mattel shaped up their product lines and increased their sales, especially once the pandemic hit. They said, we're poised to just push out more toys. People can't leave their house. Here, buy toys. And Disney, during all of this, was playing all of the sides against each other to
Mm-hmm.
decrease costs and increase licensing prices.
Weird.
Smart.
Yeah.
That's so weird. I
Hmm.
wonder why they would
Yeah.
want to do that. They don't have like a history of raising prices on everybody,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Hasbro's earning calls during the pandemic were very focused on Peppa Pig and PJ Masks, the new properties that were out there during the time. They did not focus on Disney princesses at all, and that's because they saw the writing on the wall, which is that they were losing their esteemed property. 2018, Ynon Kreiz steps in as the CEO of Mattel in April. Ynon Kreiz, Ynon Kreiz.
Damn.
This new CEO of Mattel, who almost, in some ways, if you've seen the Barbie movie, Will Ferrell as the CEO saying, I'm a man in charge of a company that makes toys for girls. He kind of embodies that in some ways.
Okay.
Where he's very pro brands, and he will do whatever he can to promote these brands, even if they're girl brands and he doesn't quite get them. But his desire was to grow Mattel IP across every arena. So Barbie, Hot Wheels, Thomas the Tank Engine, Uno, American Girl, Disney Princesses. They cut costs on production. The company slashed personnel and kicked up earnings by a factor of 8
God.
over the next few years.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you fire people, you're saving money. Who cares?
Yeah.
Right. You fire people, you continue to produce decent products, and everybody's like, okay. So in an interview with Time Magazine, Enon said that Mattel always continued their relationship with Disney because they were still making toys for Disney during all of this. And they gave constant attention to the Princess brand and helped shape the look of Disney princesses going forward. They continued to be the global leader in the doll category of toys.
Yeah.
Toys.
I love a toil.
Yeah. And it just a few years after Disney awarded the contract to Hasbro, in 2021 in October, the Hasbro CEO Brian Goldner passed away. Yeah, 2 days after stepping down. He had been the CEO for quite some time, since 2008. And Rich Stoddard from the board of directors stepped up as interim CEO. He didn't do a whole lot. And a year later, Chris Cox stepped into the role. He was the former Wizards of the Coast CEO, and he also didn't know what to do with dolls.
Yeah, Wizard of the Coast is Dungeons and Dragons. Everybody.
Dungeons and Dragons,
Oh,
Magic
okay.
the Gathering.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know how you can do like toys.
Yeah.
No, I don't understand that.
Exactly. Well, in January of 2022, Disney moved their rights for the Disney Princess brand back to Mattel. They left Hasbro with a parting gift of Indiana Jones and Star Wars toys. As I mentioned, Mattel stocks kicked up 6%, and Hasbro only dropped 1%. Still like, well, we still got Star Wars. I guess we got all these cool movies.
They're still doing all right.
I don't know that I've ever seen an Indiana Jones toy.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, oh,
No.
cool. The one franchise that doesn't have toys. I love that. Thank you for letting me do it.
There you go. Well, here's a statement. Here are two differing statements from the Disney president of consumer products, Stephanie Young, about the Mattel deal. By furthering our long-standing relationship with Mattel, we look forward to expanding the worlds of Disney princesses and Frozen. They got Frozen back too.
Oh.
Introducing an innovative new era of these beloved franchises through captivating products and play opportunities.
I love an opportunity for
I love
play.
a play opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play opportunities are great. I look forward to them someday. Stephanie also said of Hasbro in a completely different press release, Disney has long valued its relationship with Hasbro in developing fresh, imaginative products and toys that delight our fans of all ages.
Okay.
Yeah. So, they continue on with both companies. Disney makes out no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
And
No,
these two companies are clawing for money.
It is so smart for them to pit them against each other. It's like a narcissistic parent.
Sure. Whoa, someone had therapy the other day.
Yeah. Wow.
Well,
so
especially
mature.
with those minimums. They don't
Right.
care.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's a little capstone from Andy Mooney. Remember Andy? He was the Disney exec who in 2000 said, maybe we should do something with the princesses.
Mm-hmm.
He opined in 2016 that he never expected one trip to Disney on Ice would result in a franchise that is now worth more than the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow. That's crazy.
One little idea from a Disney executive brought in that much cash. That's the rivalry. I'm sure it will continue onward, but for right now, we've got Mattel in charge of the princesses with their own new line of princess dolls that are slightly different than the older ones, that don't look exactly like Barbie and don't look exactly like the Hasbro ones, but they're good enough, darn it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, very good. Eric, thank you very much for
Eric,
that.
I loved that topic.
We're researching this for so long.
I absolutely loved it. And this is one of my favorite shows.
Well, glad to contribute to the cause.
There you go.
Of course.
Let's see. I have some Disney news to talk about, but I think I might just
Let's save it. maybe.
kill it, and we'll do it on
We'll do it live.
Secret Show. Yeah.
All right.
What do you think of that?
Love it.
Let's do that. All right, everybody. Here, let's see. How do I get out of this show again? EarzUp out. There we go. That's what it is. All right, everybody. If you are listening live, pop over to Patreon. I'm going to make that live, and I'll play some music like I usually do. And then we'll go make our drink, and we'll come back, and we'll do a bunch of Disney news. I got a lot to talk about, so that'll be fun. I got a nice rant to do as well.
Oh, boy.
I don't have one. I don't have a
That's
rant.
all right. It happens, man.
Right.
I rant for both of us. You know what I mean? And if you aren't a Patreon supporter, look, I appreciate that. I understand that. You know, it happens. But we have a bunch of other shows to listen to. I just released our latest in-depth episode the other day with Jeremy and I talking about D23, Destination D23 recap show. And so that's a fun one. We'll do that. Check that out. Anyway, if you want to support the show, patreon.com/EarzUp. Go on our Etsy page, which is just look up EarzUp Podcast, I think is what it is. And buy some shirts. That really helps us, helps our bottom line, keeps everything going. So anyway.
I'm wearing one shirt.
You are.
See that.
I'm wearing one shirt too. Yeah. Until next time, everyone, we'll see you in the parks.